Hey, everybody, I'm Lynn Petrek, Senior Editor at Progressive Grocer, and welcome to Top Women in Grocery. It's a podcast that focuses on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in our industry. We spotlight extraordinary women in our industry who have successful careers and interesting lives and make a difference in their workplaces and communities. And today we have one of our Twig winners from 2024. So excited to welcome Tasha Tandy. She is VP of Merchandising for Breakfast, Baking, and Commodities at Walmart. She's worked with Walmart for 18 years, starting as a buyer's assistant and continually moved up to leadership roles, including VP Merchandise Operations for Meat, Seafood, Deli, and Bakery, and Senior Director of Merchandising Operations for the Food Division, among other roles. Tasha is an active member of the board of directors at Cancer Challenge and gives her time to other nonprofits, including the American Diabetes Association. She chairs that group's largest fundraiser, Cobblestone Farms, which increases access to fresh food to underserved populations. She earned a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from Purdue Global, Boiler Up, and we are so happy to have her with us today. Welcome, Tasha.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about our conversation today.
Me too. Me too. We love having our former and always to us, current Top Women in Grocery winners. So thanks for joining us. So as one of our winners last year, your entry and your work really stood out to our judges because you developed offerings that really met shoppers' needs from a budget and a lifestyle standpoint at a time when they really needed those kinds of things. So when you do that, when you worked on that, what are some considerations that guide you through product development and getting products to shoppers that really want and need them?
Yeah, I think want and need are key words there, Lynn. I like to think of them as the bookends of the things that we serve. We don't serve one customer. We don't serve just one customer that shops one way. We serve a multitude of customer profiles, and we serve them in all the ways they want to shop. And, that's not one customer shops in store and another customer only shops online. It's every customer shops the way they need to shop for their life. So I always think of it in terms of bookends. And in my role specifically in dry grocery, we have a responsibility to, quite honestly, feed America and to do it in a really financially responsible way. I take that very seriously and spend a lot of time to bring the lowest price that I possibly can on the goods that I sell to our customers. But then there's this other element of surprising and delighting our customer. What are the things that they want? What are the things that they want they didn't know they wanted? Sometimes we have to show them that. And so that comes with, exciting brand launches, exciting items, exclusive items that you can only get at Walmart. And so we kind of lean into both of those sides of the business of how can I surprise and delight my customer? How can I make sure they can feed their family on the funds that they have to feed their family that week? How do we showcase the value proposition that we bring and make sure that we continue to double down in that space of our customers trusting us? So that's something that we take very seriously in the food organization at Walmart is our customers should be able to trust us for the brands, the value, the items that they want, and that they're going to get it at the very best price in the industry at our store.
And trust is such a key word with Walmart, with what you set out to do and what you do.
Yes, we talk in the food organization a lot about we're going to say what we do and we're going to do what we say. And as long as we're doing those two things and we're clear on it, then we're probably making the right decisions. We're at least moving in the right path.
And that's going to be so much fun for you to find new products. That discovery is fun for us as consumers because at the end of the day, we're all consumers too. And I'll poke around sometimes when I have time to discover new products. It's so fun. But from your perspective, from your role, how fun is that? And what are some of the biggest drivers that when you're setting about to do that, Tasha?
Well, it's real fun because I'm in food, which means my job is to eat all these products, drink them, try them. So, could be worse than having a job where you're supposed to, I tell suppliers all the time, I don't buy anything that doesn't taste good. So, so let's start with that. Yeah. So it's fun, right? The first part of the job is it's super fun to be able to be in a space where I get to try those things. We talked about, the categories I represent. We say breakfast and baking, and, everybody could probably lean into to baking, but breakfast represents a bunch of stuff. It's cereal and oatmeal and things where you feed, but it's also coffee and tea and, the elements of things we drink. Coffee is a category that, like, for most people, if you're a coffee drinker, it's pretty personal. Like they're very particular about it. And so, understanding the flavor profiles that customers are looking for, what is iced coffee is a trend that's happening right now at a rapid pace, especially with younger consumers. And if we don't capture that and capitalize on that, we'll lose that consumer. There's this idea of like I can make my iced coffee at home and it's bougie like I can get in a cafe, but I did it and it like I'm proud like this cost me $2, not $8.50 at the cafe. We can service that customer, right? And so it's working with big CPGs that create that product. It's also looking for small suppliers that come in and say, I've got what you need, whether it's an instant coffee or it's an iced coffee that you can brew in your coffee machine, or better yet, brewerless coffee, which is also an emerging piece too. And so it's all of those things. It's baking chips that aren't the same old baking chips that you used to have. You can kind of go down the list and see it's better for you foods that maybe have a little less inclusions or a little cleaner eating, which is important to us in our space in an ambient dry packaged goods environment. And how do we bring great tasting food that's a little better for you? So that's the fun part of the job. That going to a supplier factory and seeing them produce it and then trying that stuff off the line, I'll do that any day.
And you have such a strong accelerator program too, where you help find and support and cultivate new brands as
That's right.
as they make their way. So that is so inspiring too. And another thing with breakfast, people eat differently, and people eat differently during the week as they do on the weekends. So
that's right.
Situations when you think about breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. That piece is important too, because again, it's the same household. Monday through Friday, they're doing something that they need to be able to put in the car or hand their kid in the car seat in the back. And, to some degree, it changes even the dynamics of my business versus a peer of mine's business, right? And I tell you what, we're pretty territorial in our business space. As you can imagine, we're competitive, all the things. But sometimes maybe box cereal's not the answer during the week, right? Maybe it's something that becomes a to-go. This is where innovation comes in, though. Right? Of how can I innovate my way out of a customer problem? The customer's changing and will continue to change. And, what I do Monday through Friday does look different on the weekends. Maybe I want to make my kid pancakes with, fruit inclusions and something good. Maybe I don't want to give them a bunch of sugar, but I'm looking for a fruit syrup, all the things that, the customer is telling us they need. And then how do they find those items? That's all part of the job, which is super fun.
And working with the brands, because you work with big brands, you work with the startup brands too. So how often, or do you meet with them pretty regularly? You mentioned, trying stuff off the line. And again, that sounds like something I'd love to go hang out with you and do.
Yeah.
But you work with all
for sure. By the way, a honey bun off the line is crispy. Who knew? I didn't know.
Oh,
and they're warm. Yeah, it's amazing. They're so good, but they're got a little crispy crunch on the outside that they somehow lose by the time it gets to the shelf. Honey buns are still delicious on the shelf, but that was a delightful experience for me. We work with big CPGs, and I'll tell you honestly, we expect a lot from them when it comes to innovation, and probably less of us asking and more of them pushing things to us. And that's a little bit different than, smaller suppliers or emerging suppliers. But my portfolio is made up of all of those suppliers that are big. It's suppliers that are small. It's suppliers that can only supply me for 500 stores, and that's okay. All of the answer is yes to all of those things. I spend a lot of time with my suppliers. Sometimes I spend disproportionate amount of time with smaller suppliers that I am helping them grow their business. I have an example of a couple of suppliers that were direct to consumer, great product, innovative product, incredibly great tasting, fun products that when they got ready to go into retail, they reached out to Walmart first. And that can be kind of scary. I think there's a lot of assumption that, well, you're not ready for Walmart unless you can service 5,000 stores. And that's not true. We kind of meet them where they're at, and then we evaluate capabilities. Sometimes we help them grow, and a PO from Walmart for 500 stores or 1,000 stores can help them grow. And, maybe 12 months from now, they're ready for an expansion. I've met with suppliers, we have Walmart Open Call, which is one of my favorite days of the year.
I know.
Do you love this?
I really do. And I'm trying to go next year. I'd love to come see it in person. Yeah. Cool.
Man, if you ever get a chance to, you really should. It's quite an experience. As merchants, we love this day. There are people who have created products in their garages, folks who got passionate about roasting coffee and just started making stuff in their garage. And they show up and they're so passionate about their product because it's literally something they created. And some folks are like, I can ask questions in the room. I had a supplier a couple of years ago that I fully intended. Like I had a little bit of knowledge about them ahead of time, and I went into the room, and it was a coffee supplier, and I went in with the answer in my head already. I'm going to put them in like 200 stores, maybe 250, and we'll see. And I got into like, I don't know, a 30-minute meeting with them, and I started understanding their capabilities and where they were from production, where they were from raw materials. And then I realized very quickly that they were ready to run way faster than that. And so we get paid for our judgment at Walmart. I feel like we get in making good decisions. It became pretty evident. Like I could probably put them in 2,000 stores, and their brand needs to be in 2,000 stores. And so I changed my mind. They changed my mind, and they were so ready for 2,000 stores. They never missed a beat in the launch. We were ready to go in about 3 or 4 months. We had ramped up pretty quickly with them. We expanded them to 3,500 stores within the next 6 months or so. They're an incredible supplier today, and so it's you. But I also have had suppliers in that very same day that they're in 250 stores because that's what they can support today. Or in some instances, that's where their brand is relevant. They're a regional, syrup supplier, and it matters in the region they're in. So, for us, it's about meeting them where they're at, growing them when they need to, representing regionality when we need to. And the answer is all of those suppliers. And then the suppliers that are big suppliers, I expect a lot from them. They expect a lot from us. We are in a partnership together. They need us to grow, and I need them to grow. Walmart doesn't manufacture anything. Our suppliers make product, and we sell product. And so a supplier partnership, I will always double down on spending time with suppliers because it's what, you win, I win, the customer wins, and it's a success model that works really well for us.
And that face-to-face time, the things you get out of those conversations that, like you said, you go maybe 200. No, you're ready for 2,000 to be able to have that face-to-face time with you. You're so accessible to them. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's part of the job, right? Like this is what helps us be successful together. We have a scorecard we measure like anybody else does, and the scorecard will tell us if we're making the right decisions. The ultimate scorecard is the customer telling us if we're making the right decisions. And at Walmart, we have a tremendous amount of access to customer data, which is, helps answer our questions along the way.
And baking, that's another, that kind of falls in your purview as well. Is that pretty hot right now? I love to bake, so I'm kind of
yes.
It's so fun, right?
It's so fun. Who doesn't love a good cupcake that you baked, but you didn't have to like scratch bake it, but you put that in the oven. You baked it, right? It's like closing the gap and taking out a few steps and creating products that make you feel like you can cook it, make it with your kid. You get your kid out there and you can do it, but you can do it in 3 or 4 steps, and it's pretty easy. I love that part of the baking category and being able to bring exclusives in that space. Super. We've got some great suppliers in that space that do amazing work. A lot of private label that does a lot of really great stuff. Some exclusive items we're excited to come in Easter of next year, so you should check it out on shelf. You'll know it when you see it. It's pretty exciting.
And I think I tried the Dolly one over the weekend. I tried some Dolly mixes.
Did you? They're incredible.
They really are. Yeah. I bought it because it was fun, and then I'm going to buy it again because it was good.
That's exactly right. So you just said something very important, Lynn. That's our job in food. Yeah. Like I need a customer to buy it first, love it, and buy it again. And when we can do that, man, we've got a winning proposition because it's the repeat purchase in food that matters so much. We sell a bunch of units a week per store of every item we have on shelf, right? And we measure that that's a really good measure, actually, a really good equalized measure for us of how many units per store per week are we moving in this item, and is it a category average? But man, the Dolly items are incredible. I'm glad you tried it and liked it. I'll let the buyer know.
There you go. And your store brands are having such success with the store brands. Consumers
That's right.
really understand that they're not alternatives. They're things that they stand on their own and stand so well on their own. So has that been kind of cool to see that kind of explode the time that you've been there at Walmart?
Yeah, 100%. What we've been able to see in the last 12 months is the launch of Better Goods. Yeah. And I'm super proud of this brand launch because it's serving customer needs. And closing gaps that we didn't have in our assortment from a private label standpoint. And, one of the misconceptions is that Walmart has a private brand growth strategy. And we actually don't. We have a customer service strategy, and the customer decides. And, so with the launch of Better Goods, what we're super excited about is this culinary inspired. These products are amazing. Culinary inspired, clean label, made without. Plant-based. I mean, there's probably 5 pieces or 5 elements. It's the ethos of this brand launch And there's just some really great tasting food. I have gluten-free muffins that are Better Goods. You don't miss the gluten in those muffins. They're on my regular shelf. They're not in the gluten modular. They're in our regular space, and they're incredible. So our product development team has just done an incredible job in this space, and it's really resonating with our customer.
And it's a great portfolio name. I just love it. That's just, it says
I
everything
know.
you need to
Same.
say. So
It's pretty. The product looks good. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool when it came out. So, and so in addition, you're busy. You must travel. You meet with the suppliers and meet with new suppliers, but you also find time to volunteer, not just with one organization, but with a couple. Why is that so important to you, Tasha?
I take it as the job I get to do every day is a privilege to me. And some days I'm still a little surprised they let me do it. Don't tell anybody. Um, and I have a huge responsibility in my day job, but I'm in food. And so that piece, one of the organizations I think you mentioned in the beginning is Cobblestone Farms, which is a local nonprofit that is focused on, is feeding the underfed, with healthy foods. I mean, I have plucked their produce out of the ground in Springdale, Arkansas. It's one of the organizations that I get to be a privilege to be a part of. Our company is built on purpose. Walmart is built on purpose. And we talk about the purpose of what we do. We spend a lot of hours doing the jobs we do. It's about the purpose of what we drive. And for me, that's a way for me to give back in another space. And within our community, my role plays a role in the community, within our supplier community. And I love to be attached to organizations where the dollars that they raise stay in our community. And many of the organizations I support, it is about feeding folks who are here, providing cancer. I'm the board chair of the Cancer Challenge, which is an organization that has been here for 31 years. And all of the dollars they raise go right back into our community to help people who are fighting cancer. Those, for me, it's just another way to spend my hours on things that are bigger than me, that can make somebody else's life better. And if my role can help me play in any of that, then I feel it as a responsibility to be able to do that. And it's fun. You meet great people. You learn a little bit about yourself. You learn how nonprofits are ran. It's sort of ran like a business. But there's elements of that, being on a board of an organization, you learn things. So it's also, continued education for me. I've gotten a lot of it out of those things personally.
That's a great point. And, maybe it's being in the food industry, maybe it's feeding people, being a hub of the community in the way that Walmart is, and your legacy. But there's just something about this sector, about giving back. And maybe it's the passion, I think, that drives it for a lot of people.
Yes, that's right. I'm not unique, by the way. A lot of my peers are doing the same things and supporting, and we support each other, right? But we sometimes we support each other, right? We will email or call, hey, like we're doing a push and we need some cash. Like we need you to help out. Can you come chair this event? We support each other in that space. So
I love that. And you do it because you want to, and you find the time.
That's right. That's right.
And mentorship too. I would imagine you've got a lot of young people that you work with. In the volunteer work and in your regular role as well. How important is mentorship to you, that shaped you in your journey, that you're helping others too?
Yes, 100%. It's one of the most important things I think that we do at Walmart is investing in others. We talk about being a people-led, tech-powered organization. Any leader you hear speak, and you'll see the slide, and we are a people-led organization first, and there's a reason that it says people-led first. We were built on that. Our founder, Mr. Sam, built our organization on doing what was right from people, listening to his associates. They're the best idea generators. And that has been my experience after 19 years at this company, starting from day one. Somebody sat with me and taught me how to do a job I didn't know how to do when I was brand new, and I was overwhelmed every day. But somebody helped me, and then somebody said, let me mentor you. And then, fast forward 19 years of that, and people have invested and given their time to me and helped me grow, given me opportunities. They've let me fail. This company has let me fail a lot and has let me learn from my failure, and then let me get on to do some good things, right? Like the scorecard doesn't, it's not they're not keeping track of all the fails. It's about what do you do with the failure. We're actually encouraged to push to failure because you learn the most things. So I spend a lot of time with you. I mean, I'm older in my career. I'm older. I'm just older in wisdom. And
Yeah.
any person who says, "Hey, can I come spend 30 minutes with you?" I never say no, because somebody did it for me and it's valuable to them. They have questions. They need a safe space to be able to ask. They're young in their career. They've not encountered some of the challenges that that they are encountering. I keep a box of tissue in my office because sometimes tears come with some of those conversations because they don't know how to navigate and they need help. And so, like I think that there's a responsibility to invest in. Again, I've had a lot of people do it for me, and so I do it anytime I can. It's how you grow future leaders. I need somebody to come do my job at some point. I'm going to retire or go on to the next great thing for me, or whatever that is, go be a full-time Mimi, which would be an amazing job for me. And I need people to do this job. My job as a leader is to grow the next people of the next group of leaders to come do these jobs. So, and then we do that through mentorship.
And you have a lot of people like you that have been there a long time. I mean, 18 years, there's
We
probably
do.
people that have been there 30, 35, 40, I would imagine,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We celebrate them once a month. Long-term
Mhm.
associates, we have them, and most of them start at 25 years and up. And you'd be surprised at the number of people across our company. 1.2 million associates across the United States. That number, from a percentage standpoint, can grow pretty quickly. And we celebrate them, and they're big. There have been people 40, 50. We've celebrated some 50 years recently. It's crazy.
I believe that, like, because if you start as you start as a cashier when you're 16, and you're getting ready to
Yeah,
exit maybe in your mid 70s. Yeah, you can have that kind of longevity, and
that's right.
we hope to build that for the next generation.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and that's the goal. That's the goal. And I've done a bunch of different jobs. You listed a handful of the things that I've gotten to do here. I've done a bunch of different jobs here. I've worked in general merchandise. I've worked in consumables. I've been in modular analytics. I've done project management. You can do so many different things and never leave the company, right? And that's the beauty of Walmart. And you can be as creative and regenerate and start over as many times as you choose to.
And you can't, it's like your family. You can't say you love one more than the other, because you love them all differently.
That's
Because
right.
they're
I love them
trying
all
something.
differently. I love you all. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But you learn something from everything, and good, bad, and good, bad, and indifferent, right? You learn something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you learn more from the things that are hard.
Yeah, and they're memorable, that's for sure. And,
Yes.
and one final question here, Tasha. We always love to
Mhm.
ask what you have in your own cart, and maybe it's some baking mixes. But what are some things from your own departments, and maybe in fresh or frozen or other departments, that make their way into your cart?
Okay, I don't tell my buyers I'm not going to pick an item that's out of my space. I'm going to tell you one of my favorite items right now
Yeah.
is in frozen. So it's a Better Goods item, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the frozen wing. It's the Louisiana style dry rub
Ooh, I
hot,
love the dry
hot
rub.
wings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they're amazing. You cook them in the air fryer. I've done it, like, I've had family events over the last, obviously with the holidays. I've had family over. I keep I keep bags of that stuff. I pull them out, put them. Every single person's like, these are the best frozen wings I've ever had. They're so good. So I'm a big fan of the wings. I keep them
Bone
stocked.
in.
They are bone in.
Bone in.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Gotta
come
go
out of the
bone in.
fryer so crispy. Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love a little less breading on them.
Yeah.
Got to
Yeah.
got to get that bone in there.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Another item we had over the holiday time frame, and my husband was the one who noticed and mentioned it, was our French bread at Walmart. So we bake our French bread in stores.
Oh,
It's from our
okay.
bakery.
Mhm.
It's $1. It's $1
What's
for
a
this
dollar
French bread.
anymore? Yeah.
It's
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
yes. And it is so good. My grandson, who's 11, was like, he ate probably half that loaf himself. But my
Wow.
husband noticed the price tag. He's like, "Is that really $1? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, it
It's
is."
probably pretty
Um,
big, right?
and it was
Yeah.
it was baked. It
Yeah.
was baked like the day they brought it to me, and they brought it to me, by the way, because I'm a heavy user of the deliver to my house. And so,
Oh, yeah.
again, just a great
Yeah.
experience. So those are two of my favorites. They're top of the list for me.
That's a good one. And you do shop different ways. You do
That's
deliver to
right.
your house. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. I do deliver to the house. I probably don't do pickup a lot anymore because it is so convenient to get it delivered to my house, but I also do a
Yeah.
lot of in-store shopping too. So
Mhm.
I'm probably a 70/30. I probably have 70% of my product delivered to my house because it's such a
Okay.
time saver for me.
Mhm.
And I have such a great experience with it. And then about 30% of the time, I like to pop into a store and see am I missing anything? And,
Yeah.
my husband likes me to go peruse and see if we can find anything new. And But I'm an example of what our customer is. They shop
Exactly.
how they shop, and that sometimes
Yeah.
that day by day looks a little different.
It does look different. You've got the logistics and the tech behind it that make that pretty seamless for you to get all those delivery orders at home, I would imagine.
That's right.
Yeah, I would
That's right.
imagine. You know exactly what goes into getting that there and the great shape that it gets there. So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tasha. It was just a great
Thank you.
conversation. Honored to have you and honored to have Walmart on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate the invitation, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. And if anyone out there has an idea for a podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to me at lptrack@ensembleiq.com. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a good one.